Hello, I'm Harry for the TV, remember it's me, you don't have a clue. And welcome back to another What If. SML has grown a wide fan base over the years, and it seems like every couple of years they're adding more and more new characters. Their most notable one being Jeffy, the puppet who was raised by horrible parents and was eventually adopted by Mario, or as he's known now, Marvin. Now, for those of you who don't know, SML is a comedy puppet show channel that makes R-rated videos using puppets. They used to use Nintendo Plus toys, but then they received a cease and desist letter from Nintendo saying they couldn't use them anymore, so they switched over to the human puppets. Now let's rewind back to early 2016 when their most popular character, Jeffy, walked through the door. Now, over the years, Jeffy has gotten so much controversy, which I won't delve into because that's a whole other video which I don't plan to make, so you can look it up and you can see many videos talking about the controversy behind Jeffy. Now, in my opinion, Jeffy is a character with so much missed potential. Like, he has potential to be a really good character, but unfortunately Logan keeps missing it. Now this What If is going to be a fanfiction pitch video for what my version of an SML video that developed Jeffy's character would be like. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We open to Jacques-Pierre Francois, painting a portrait of himself and gloating about how he'd faked his own death to make millions. We can have a comedic moment where he puts in his headphones to listen to some music while he works. He starts to paint with the paintbrush in his mouth and he claims that he's so good at it, he doesn't need to use his hands. Suddenly, Jacques' butler walks in and he tries to get the artist's attention, but Jacques is oblivious to the butler's presence. It gets to a point where the butler is annoyed and tries getting Jacques' attention by making him jump, but it results in Jacques swallowing the paintbrush and he starts to choke on it. The butler panics and doesn't know what to do, but when Jacques goes unconscious, the butler decides to rush him to the hospital. We get a scene where Brooklyn Guy examines the artist's body and asks the butler what happened. The butler explains himself, and we get a comedic moment where Brooklyn Guy is his usual sarcastic self and points out that maybe it wasn't a good idea scaring the artist while he had a paintbrush in his mouth. Brooklyn Guy tries doing chest compressions on the artist, but nothing happens, so he decides to do a full operation on him. And we cut about an hour later, where Brooklyn Guy comes back with the results and says to the butler that sadly, Jacques-Pierre Francois has passed away. The butler is saddened by this and goes off to tell everyone the news. We cut to Marvin and Rose on the sofa and Jeffy's annoying them as usual. Marvin asks Jeffy if he's never thought about moving out and getting a job. Jeffy does his usual, I don't have to, and then he leaves them both. When Jeffy is gone, Marvin admits to Rose that he's worried about that sun leeching off of him. Rose tells Marvin that everything will be fine and that maybe Jeffy will consider getting a job. Marvin asks Rose why she's always taking Jeffy's side, and Rose explains that she'd never had a child before Jeffy and that she just wants to make him happy. Marvin explains that she can make Jeffy happy, but he has to be disciplined, just like every other child. But Rose reassures him that one day Jeffy will learn how to behave well, and that they just need time. Jeffy actually overhears their conversation and takes that into consideration. He then decides to go and ask his friends for some advice. Meanwhile, Junior, Joseph and Cody are playing basketball when Jeffy approaches them. Jeffy asks them if he should get a job, and Joseph comments that since he's homeless he doesn't need a job. And Junior comments that jobs are for boring people. But Cody simply says that it's Jeffy's choice. But since he's 18 now, he should really think about his future. And Jeffy considers this. Meanwhile, Marvin is having a call with Chef Pee-Pee about Jeffy's future. He asks him if he should take Jeffy to any career events. Chef Pee-Pee responds that it would be a good idea to take Jeffy to some career events, but to let him decide, because the last thing Jeffy would want is to become a low-paid chef who gets abused and shouted a lot. Marvin thanks Chef Pee-Pee and leaves. Marvin then encounters Jeffy on the sofa and smacking his diaper in thought. He then asks Jeffy what he always wanted to be when he grew up, and this makes Jeffy stop and actually think. He then tells Marvin that he's always wanted to be a voice actor because of all the voices he can do, and Marvin says that that's a good start, and asks Jeffy where he would like to move to if he were to move out. Jeffy thinks about this, and explains to his dad that he's always wanted to live in a big house and be rich. Marvin admits that he hasn't got that much money, but he can help Jeffy find an apartment. He's about to leave when Jeffy asks him why Marvin hates him so much. This makes Marvin stop in his tracks. Marvin tells Jeffy that he's never really thought about that, and asks Jeffy what made him have such a thought. Jeffy explains that he may not be the brightest light bulb, but he's not so stupid not to notice how much Marvin yells at him or tells him to stop doing stuff. Marvin is in shock. He's almost angry that Jeffy has always been aware of how annoying he could be. But then he explains that he never hated Jeffy, and that the reason why he was always shouting at him was because in his mindset, it was how a child should be raised, and it was how he himself was raised when he was young. Marvin leaves the room, and Jeffy just sits there. He decides to switch on the TV to look for some job adverts, but sees a news report that Jacques-Pierre Francois has passed away, and that he left millions of dollars to his son. Jeffy decides to get Marvin to talk about it. He explains the story to Marvin and mentions that he remembered Brooklyn guy said that his father had left him millions of dollars when he passed away. Marvin explains that he doesn't believe this and that the painter had faked his death once before, but he decides to give Brooklyn guy a call just to be sure. Once Brooklyn guy arrives, Marvin explains the story to him and asks if the artist really has died. Brooklyn guy reveals that Jacques-Pierre Francois really did pass away this time and that it's not being retconned. Then he explains to Jeffy that since he's 18 now, he can move out with his millions. This actually hits Marvin, and he tells the two of them that he has to go outside and think some things over. Marvin goes outside to clear his head. Ever since Jeffy had walked through that door, Marvin had wanted nothing more than to get rid of him. Now that it was finally happening, he wasn't so excited. Jeffy joins his father outside. Marvin tries to hide he's upset, and firmly tells Jeffy that he has to move out eventually. Jeffy can sense that his dad's upset and tells him that there's no need to be sad, and at least Marvin won't have to deal with this bullshit anymore. We can have a heartfelt conversation between Marvin and Jeffy, and it ends with Marvin finally telling Jeffy that deep down he really does love the boy. And Jeffy says that he loves his dad too. Marvin walks back inside to find Rose. He explains to her what's going on and expects Rose to throw a hissy fit, but instead she comforts him and reassures him that Jeffy's growing up and it's time for him to move on to better things in life. And Marvin admits to Rose that she's right. We can have a montage of Marvin and Jeffy house hunting. Jeffy says no to a few houses, but eventually he finds the perfect one. We cut 5 months later. Jeffy finishes packing most of his stuff in his new car. Everyone Jeffy's close to is there to see him off. Rose is upset, but Jeffy tells her not to be sad and that he'll come and visit. Marvin admits that even after the annoyances and bad behaviour, he's going to miss Jeffy, and the two share a hug. Jeffy gets in his car and takes one last look back as everyone waves goodbye to him. Then he drives off into the sunset, and into a new future.